maxkadym. 10,000 years later, 20,000 years later.
What the fuck?
Yo, my name is Max,
Yo, and I'm Alpay.
and you are watching.
Racing or ping pong?
Hello.
Hey! Honestly, what are we doing? Racing or ping pong? Hey, listen, we're breaking news. Amazing.
Welcome to another video on your most favorite YouTube channel with your hosts Max.
And Alpay.
We know that we are late with this topic, but better late than never. Like Kimi's win after 113 years. Hopefully we will be more time efficient in the future, and I mean like forever.
It's no big deal now that Pierre Gasly has just been demoted to Toro Rosso by Red Bull, after they have even said it won't happen this year. But now it has, and rookie Alex Albon will jump into the Red Bull car in Belgium and for the rest of the season.
But why Gasly has been dropped? Why Albon, not Kvyat? Why at this point? So many whys we have to answer, so lean back, get some ice cream and enjoy this episode of Racing or Ping Pong.
First of all, Gasly was promoted to Red Bull for this season, after a solid first full season with Toro Rosso in 2018, with finishing P4 in Bahrain and beating his experienced teammate Brandon Hartley.
But this season started very bad for Mr. Gasly, with being out in Q1 and finishing P11 in Australia, being out in Q2 and finishing 8th in Bahrain, and then, after 2 races for Red Bull, finally finishing in the top 6 and even driving the fastest lap of the race, but with a 60 seconds gap to Leclerc in P5.
When you see what Verstappen did in this time, you could already see that the man from the Netherlands was performing a lot better than Gasly. Verstappen always finished in the top 4 in the first 3 races, with a podium in front of both Ferraris at the Australian Grand Prix.
Many people thought that China was a turnaround for the Frenchman and that it was only a difficult start to the season, like for example for Leclerc last year, but a DNF in Baku, another P6 in Spain and a P5 due to DNF for Leclerc in Monaco seemed to have proved them wrong.
Gasly seemed to not be prepared for fighting against the big boys, which was also a bit clear last year, as he already had big ups and downs back then. Failing to reach Q2 or Q3 and only finishing P6 or P5 in a top team car, which already won Grand Prix and podium this season, is a bit bad.
I mean, it's good in one point, because he isn't holding up Verstappen too much and is a number 2, not like the Leclerc-Vettel situation at Ferrari. But it's bad for the Constructors' Championship. Alfa Romeo and Racing Point have the same issue, with only one consistent point scorer in the team. So Red Bull, even with Max Verstappen often performing better than Ferrari, is 44 points behind them in the Constructors. So even the 5th place sister team Toro Rosso could nearly fill the entire gap between them.
Also in the Drivers' Championship you see that Gasly's performance is consistent, but not enough for a top team. Gasly is in P6 with only 5 points more than Carlos Sainz, and Leclerc in P5 has 2 times more points than him. Oof, that's a lot. Gasly shouldn't be fighting McLaren and Alphas in the championship, but finish on the podium, and if he has the opportunity, win a Grand Prix, but he is fighting against the back of the rest, which are far behind the big 3, so he has been demoted.
Now that we have clarified why Gasly has been demoted, let's shortly talk about a driver who was promoted. And yes, it isn't Danny Kvyat, it's Alex Albon. But why him?
That's a good question, because Kvyat by far is driving the better season, outscoring Albon in the terms of the championship, the podiums, qualifying, race finishes, but also in retirements. And also a good fact, Albon scored the amount of points which Kvyat scored only in Germany and Australia in the whole first half of the season.
On the paper it's clear that Kvyat currently is the better driver. But don't forget, Kvyat starts his 2nd career, while Albon is a rookie. But for a rookie, Albon had a very solid start to the season, with beating Kvyat in only his 2nd race in Bahrain and scoring his first points there, behind, yep, Pierre Gasly.
Also, Albon showed that he can do great comebacks in the race like in China, where he started from the pit lane after a crash in free practice and finished in the points. Or in the chaotic German GP, starting 17th and finishing in the impressive P5. Comebacks. That's also one of the best skills from Verstappen, and very good for a top team driver to make up places after a bad start or some qualifying issues, for example.
What can be the reasons for promoting Albon?
There can be many, but one reason might be that they think Albon can help them very much in the Constructors' Championship without holding up Verstappen too much fighting against the Mercedes, and that Kvyat proved that he has the potential to finish on the podium in the Toro Rosso and can help the sister team as a leader for the worst situation that Gasly struggles once again.
I think also for 2020 it's a good test, because they then had experience with 3 candidates for the Red Bull seat, Gasly, Kvyat and also Albon, and can much more easily decide who races along Max Verstappen in the next season. And even if also Albon fails, Red Bull is pretty safe with at least P3 in the Constructors' title. That also answers our last question, why it happened in the summer break. And then I recently found another reason for Albon on Instagram the other day.
What's your opinion on this change? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this episode, if it was a nice one. To give us motivation for the future, subscribe this channel if you haven't and activate the bell, so you don't miss any racing or ping pong content in the future.
Also follow Funny F1, Charles Leclerc 16, F1 Pits, F1 Racetrack and F1 News Funny, who supported us on Instagram, and show some love to them by typing #RacingNotPingPong in the comment of their last picks. That's it for today, massive thanks for watching, see you in the next episode of Racing or Ping Pong, and always remember to stay flat out through Eau Rouge.
That's Radion actually.
Oh yeah, I'm stable.